Hey YouTube, I am back. I am sorry I was gone so long. I was sick with the flu for about a week and a half a couple of weeks ago, and it took me a couple of weeks to get it together. So anyway, I'm back, and this video I'm going to do is going to be titled White Sympathy. Okay. Alright, so what I mean by white sympathy, I'll explain it all throughout my video and you'll get what I mean, and I'm pretty sure you know. But this is a subject that you know, irritates me every time I see this implied. Now, let's take, for example, what's going on now with the drug situation in the good old US of A. A lot of the white folks are on drugs, and that's just what it is. It's spreading through. It has spread throughout the country to places where it's never been before. So now it's sort of like this sympathy for these people when there was none when us black folks was strung out on drugs. So the government wants to step in and they want to seek treatment programs and do all of this stuff for the white population. Okay, not too long ago they did something on 60 Minutes about this, where 60 Minutes referred to these, they referred to the heart, they called it the heartland of America. The heartland of America is on drugs. Now let me tell you about this word heartland. When you hear the word heartland, you think of like a country song out in the fields, down a country road. But when you hear the word heartland, just know that they are talking about the white people of America. Heartland equals white people of America. But when you hear inner city, you know they're talking about black and poor people. Okay, so they did this whole show about white people being on drugs, and how they didn't say white people particularly, but who they showed were white people, white women, young white women, and they were, because that's who's mostly on drugs, these young white women, you know. So they describe these white women as, oh, you would never guess, it's the squeaky clean girl next door type. You know, when we were battling drugs, I mean, black people, African Americans, we were really like, it was the war on us. And we know that narrative. It was the war on us. It was the war on black people. The war on drugs was the war on black people. You know, we were getting locked up. People were getting locked up. They were getting out. They had no futures because they were being locked up and had records. They couldn't vote. I mean, everything was so disproportionate because of this attack on black people and the drug problems that was ripping through the black neighborhoods. But now that it's white people, they're not getting vilified. So now they're trying to give these white people, they get second chances. They get second chances and they get hope and everything like that. When the black people, it was just like, you know, they were problems. Let's get rid of this problem. This is a problem. You know, now the white people, yeah, it's a problem, but it's a problem within the white population, the white heartland of America. Whereas black people, with the war on with the drug situation, we were the problem. That's how they was looking at it. We were the problem. So that's what I say. That's what I mean when I say white sympathy, because you got the double standard. That's what I mean when I say white sympathy. You got the double standard. You know, you got two different races being treated differently, you know, because of their race. All right, so another thing I want to talk about is and it's staying within the same topic, is domestic violence. Okay, I want to bring up this case that was in the news recently. It was about this black young woman. Her name was Cheryl Baldwin, and she had a domestic case with her ex-boyfriend. She was going back and forth through the courts because of the violence. She had got a restraining order on this guy. She seeked anger management for this guy, which the judge denied, because she said that the judge said that it had to be from him. He had to want the anger management. She couldn't request it. I mean, she just was trying to seek help for this violent man, and her situation being that she was sort of stuck in a situation. She had a child by him, and you know, I have no doubt at one point she did love the guy. But anyway, she wind up finally getting a restraining order on him, and she winds up it just so happens that she winds up killing the guy. Now, that day, I'm going to run down the series of events really quickly. He texts her like twice. Very, very cruel messages. DOA. Dead on arrival. He texts her those messages before he came over, disregarding the restraining order that she had on him. Broke through the window of her house, ran into the house, choked her with the belt. She finally escaped, went to her car, tried to drive away. And her baby was like 18 months old, was in the house. So she says she does not remember clearly what happened next. But when the cops arrived, she had a broken leg, and her ex-boyfriend was dead. Her ex-boyfriend was like between the car and the garage door. So maybe she pressed the gas and tried to get away and went forward or something or whatever, or just ran him over point blank. I don't know. She doesn't remember. She blanks out. She don't know that detail. But that's what happened when she came to. She had a broken leg, and he was caught between the car and the garage door, and it was fatal. He was dead. Anyway, they locked this girl up for 3 years, despite all the evidence, or everything that she had against him, proving that she was trying to protect herself, proving that she was in this violent situation, this domestic violence situation with her ex-boyfriend. You know, she had the text messages. She, the window was broken into. She was choked with a belt. You know, and they disregard that, and they lock her up, and they set her bail for $1 million, which she could not post. They set her bill for $1 million, which she couldn't post. And so she's set in jail. She sat in jail for 3 years until her trial came up. She tried to get the charges. She tried to get the charges dismissed about 2 or 3 times. I think the judge wouldn't dismiss them. She went in front of the judge, and finally she was found guilty. But she had to go through a whole, trial. But she was found. Finally she was found not guilty. But she had to go through a whole trial, and she sat in jail for 3 years. How incredible. And then you take this the same type of situation, a white woman from Queens, Barbara Sheehan is her name, Barbara Sheehan, from Queens, white woman. She goes and shoots her husband up 11 times, and she gets acquitted because they found that she suffered from domestic abuse. Now, mine was in the bathroom shaving, and on top of that, she used 2 guns, So she said that he pointed the gun at her and threatened her, and she shot him 6 times or 4 times. She shot him a few times the first time, and then while he was on the ground, he was like still spewing off at the mouth. This is what she was saying in court. And so she shot him some more with a different gun. And this was an ex-cop, so that's why they had guns all over the motherfucking house. But incredible. She didn't serve, I think she probably served a few days in jail. And then she was out. And she was out until her trial. So I think this happened in 2009. And she was acquitted in 2011. Just straight acquitted. And the prosecutor said that the husband posed no threat. He was in the bathroom shaving. And this woman walks. This woman walks. You know, so that's what I mean by white sympathy. You know, despite all the evidence that Sherelle Baldwin had, all the evidence, she had the restraining order, she had the text message, she had the broken in window, she had the incidences that she reported before. They went back and forth to court. They let her sit in jail for 3 years. They didn't even want to lower her bond. They tried to get the bond lowered and was unsuccessful. You tell me what that is. You tell me what that is. Another situation in Florida. The woman, a black woman, her name is Marissa Alexander. She shot off a warning shot in her house. She didn't even shoot her husband, but she let off a warning shot. Again, this was a domestic violence issue. She was, you know, going back and forth with these domestic violence issues with her husband, and she shot off a warning shot, and they locked her up. That Florida is a stand your ground state, okay? Like, you have the right to protect yourself if you feel threatened by threatened by harm, any bodily harm. You have the right to protect yourself. So, a mandatory 20-year sentence, 20 years for defending herself in the state of Florida that has the stand your ground law. It was a mandatory 20 years. She went to trial. I mean, she wanted to avoid going to trial. Because if she went to trial, she would be facing 60 years. She didn't want to put her family through that. She has 3 children. She didn't want to do that. She didn't want to put her family through that. She didn't want to chance it. So she agreed to a plea deal. Now, the plea deal is that she has to wear a monitoring bracelet for 2 years. She can't go anywhere outside of the house except to take her children to school or to the doctor, or for her to go to the doctor visits. That's what she gets. But George Zimmerman, chilling. Anyway, that's what I'm saying about white sympathy. I mean, white is right and black, we don't get none of that. Crazy, straight crazy. Anyway, thank you for riding with me. Thank you for the few subscribers that have, you know, came on since I was gone, and I appreciate it. I appreciate you guys. Let's keep this going. I try to get out a video every week and a half or so. That's what I aim for. Like I said, I was sick, so I couldn't. That's why it was so long. But just keep riding with me. Watch some of my other videos if you haven't. Subscribe. I'm not going to keep saying this at the end of the video, but just, you know, all the time like everybody do. Subscribe to my channel, blah, 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 blah. If you like it, subscribe. All right. Peace.